back in the game. This is my time, faster than ever, hungry and I'm going to come back and take what is mine, bigger and better. It's a new dawn, it's a new day. Some things are different, but nothing has changed. Still got my number, still got my name. Tell everybody I'm back in the game. Saddle, cut to the chase. I ain't somebody who stays in one place. Ready to go, I'm coming to play. You better know I still got something to say. It's a new dawn, it's a new day. Some things are different, but nothing has changed. Still got my number, still got my name. Tell everybody I'm back in the game. match I couldn't handle. No one else could ever hold a candle. Get ready for a battle, cause you know that I was born for this. I was born for this. Never met a match I couldn't handle. No one else could ever hold a candle. Get ready for a battle, cause you know I was born. I tell you I was born for this. Ain't nothing gonna stop me now. I was born for this.
From Sonoma Raceway, after a Memorial Day break, we're back again. The Northwest Racing Series and the Cup cars are now ready to go here with their new next-gen bodies. Of course, the front valence on the cars, the tires, the new setup, everything that we're looking forward to see here on this road course event. It's the second road course of the year for the drivers of the Northwest iRacing Cup Series, and they are ready to go in beautiful wine country in virtual Sonoma, California. It's round number 12 of the Northwest Racing Series on iRacing on LSRTV, and for those that are listening on the Community Radio Network. Good evening. I am Wesley Outland. Justin Prince, my colleague, is under the weather. He is unable to be with us tonight. Hopefully Justin gets back to feeling well. But who has stepped in? None other than my pal from California, who knows where Sonoma Raceway is, just about a 40-mile drive away from his house. And it is our Northwest Racing Series truck commentator, Samuel Dyer, ready to go. You got the trucks, and now the Cup cars are ready to go here at Sonoma Raceway.
Yeah, I mean, right now, live, also premiering right next to this is going to be our trucks that we had to commentate over.
That's right.
As we missed out on that race because of illness situations. But, hey, we're here now to watch the Cup live, and this is going to be a fun race to watch, I think, for these drivers, Wesley. And like I said, it's a close race. It's my home track. And this track, it's an interesting one. It's a tough one. I think that's going to be the biggest word that's used all night long is how tough this track is.
And by the way, for those that are listening on the Community Radio Network, that race, the Sonoma truck race that we have premiering right now on another YouTube channel on iRacing on LSRTV, besides the live feed for the Cup cars right now, that race will air in its entirety. That race will air in its entirety on the Community Radio Network with Samuel Dyer and myself on the call immediately following the Cup race. So for about the next 4.5, 5 hours, tune into us for iRacing coverage on Community Radio Network. Right now, we're in the summer months, and right now, besides iRacing coverage and real race broadcasts, that's all we have going on until we fire the football season back up in August. Samuel, we're getting ready for round 12 here tonight, buddy. Obviously, this race is going to, hey, add on another 25 laps to what we saw with the trucks here in Sonoma. These Cup cars are going to go 75 laps of racing, which is close to the equivalent of 100 and close to 200 miles, 189.75 miles to be exact. And in addition to that, we're going to be interesting to see what this new car will provide. We've been told kind of outside the box, off the air, these cars are tricky. They're hard to handle. Obviously, we're going to be mentioning the carousel, entering off of turns number 1, 2, and 3, going through the S's. They're saying that these back ends of these cars can quickly come out from under them. So I think that'll make it an interesting race here tonight.
I think it's going to be interesting for everyone second on back. That is my decision on who's going to do well. This is going to be a very tough track for a lot of these drivers. But Lake Peterson, Wesley, I mean, noted on the fact that he was the driver that won the last road course we were at, went from coast to coast, pole to victory lane. He's looking pretty stout that he can do it again, but there is a opportunity that we could see some other drivers try to come in and steal a win from Lake. but that we noted on it during our trucks race that we covered, and also here tonight, track position could be the key factor for these drivers.
Listen, in the truck race, we said several times, Samuel, that if you're up in the front, you're in clean air. That's the way to be. That's where you need to be, because you've obviously got a big margin of advantage than the guys that are in the back. If you're in second on back, you're in the air, you're in the pack, you're in the turbulence, you're in the drafting, and you've got to find somehow, some way to work your way around this this craziness. By the way, we are coming on the air as they are qualifying, just getting ready to wrap up qualifying. And what do you know? Lake Peterson and Paul Newton, truck race winner at Sonoma. Samuel, right now you're front row, and there's still a couple of more minutes left to go in qualifying before they prepare to go for the race coming up for 75 laps.
Yeah, and right now, as qualifying slowly coming to a conclusion, we'll take a look here at drivers that are on track, as some are having fun
That's what
with
I'm trying
it.
to tell you.
Some are having fun, some are having tricky ways. As you see there, Sean Breisman getting out of sorts, trying to get up the hill, and drivers are going to be tested on the limits that they can really push their vehicles here. Again, instead of, the usual cup cars that we have seen in the past that were 4 gears, they now have 5 gears to work with here this evening. As we take a look here at Kevin Smith, a driver that did not do well in the truck series because he missed the starting grid, hoping for a better stout night. But again, up the hill, tricky spot for a lot of these drivers.
I'm telling you, a lot of people told us during the production meeting before we came live on the air here, Samuel, that, man, even veteran guys, Wesley, trucks get up the hill, the back end wants to come out from under them. We're going to watch them as they work through the corners, so definitely going to be exciting. We're going to step away and go to a commercial break real quickly, but before we do that, let's take a look at the weather conditions here on the bottom right of your monitor as we get ready to set the stage here in Sonoma. 82 degrees, virtual ambient temperature outside. Wow. It is windy compared to what the truck race was here for Sonoma, Samuel, and for the Northwest drivers. The track temp is even hotter, 122 degrees on track temp. And I know it says partly cloudy, but my goodness, the sun is bearing down on this racetrack right now.
Yeah, I mean, this is looking like right now's weather in California, and it certainly did look like this today, of it being partly cloudy. That of cloud coverage comes over periodically, but that temperature on the track is main reason why we're seeing these drivers have such issues going up into turn number 2, as we saw both that with Kevin Smith and also Sean Breisman. When you're going up the hill, when the track gets so high, it makes it to where the grip on the tires just does not collect, and you're not able to really get that grip, and it just feels like you're just going to slip and slide wherever you're going to go. So these drivers are going to have a tough time, especially if that hot temperature on the track moves from qualifying to the racing session.
3 minutes left to go in qualifying. Some drivers that have already took time might just be trying to figure out the setup and the handling around Wine Country's Sonoma Raceway. Close to 3 mile track. It's coming up next, round 12 of the Northwest. When we return, we'll look at the points real quickly, and we will get you set for the green flag 75 lap feature. This is iRacing on LSRTV, and for those that are listening on the Community Radio Network at 87.5 FM in the Triangle of North Carolina and anywhere at wearecrn.com. Hey, it's broadcast personality Wesley Outland, and for the second year in a row, the Community Radio Network is excited to also be the voice of iRacing on LSRTV every Monday and Thursday night with the Northwest Racing Series for Cup and Truck. Join yours truly, Justin Prince and Samuel Dyer, every week as they race towards a championship. We're also on the radio in the Triangle, in the Raleigh-Durham, North Carolina area at 87.5 WCRN, and anywhere worldwide at wearecrn.com. Click play. Check out the coverage, the power of radio to the imagination of the listener, esports style. We are the Community Radio Network, the voice of iRacing on LSR-TV. Check it out when you can, and replays are always up too. Hey, It's broadcast personality Wesley Outlet up topside at one of the great racetracks of the world, the Caraway Speedway. And I'd like to remind you to join us every Wednesday afternoon at 1 p.m. Eastern to 3 p.m. Eastern with coverage of Finish Line, where we talk to everybody from NASCAR to grassroots, like right here at Caraway Speedway. Carolina's Fox Sports Radio affiliates, iHeartRadio, and on the Community Radio Network at 87.5 FM. And remember, thanks to Live Sim Racing Productions, you can actually see the guest panel, ask their questions, get interactive with us with comments and so much more in our chat box. Finish Line every Wednesday. Join us every week. Hey, welcome back. There is about 40 seconds left to go. And Samuel, I've got good news, buddy. I'm understanding that due to the crazy, treacherous car on this track, they have cut the laps from 75 to 50 laps. I think that's going to make this race be a lot more exciting.
Yeah, well, if we were watching the trucks race, it kind of got strung out there for a bit of drivers really spaced out from one another. We weren't seeing too much racing action between one another. With shortening the laps, it does also make these drivers think about their pit stops a little bit sooner, and also going to be making these drivers think of more strategies on how they want to save their tires. And like we've noted on, just figure out how to handle this track. This is going to be one of those nights where, as qualifying's coming to a conclusion, of you're racing the track more than you're racing the competitors around you.
Cole Raz has the points lead, 10 points over Brian Barnes, 16 back is Caden Anderson, Sean Brightsman, Lake Peterson. Your top five will embellish more into the point standings because we've got a long way to go. 50 laps around Sonoma Raceway. The field is gritting. Let's give you your starting lineup for round number 12 of the Northwest Racing Series Cup cars. The man that's dominated this year, Lake Peterson, as well as Caden Anderson and Cole Raz on the front row. And the Truck Sonoma winner, Paul Newton, row 1. Ryan Bloom, 25. He was on the pole for the truck race in Sonoma. He'll start third. Brian Barnes, second of the points. He'll start fourth. Kevin Smith, 00. And ready beside him, Robert Campbell in 54, row 3. Row 4, we'll find Sean Brightsman, 2020 Series champion, and Billings, Montana, John Onnebacher in 89. Row number 5, top 10, two-time defending Truck Series champion, Dan West Jr., and of course, Clifford Toby Ritters in 23.
Two drivers are hoping for some better runs from their truck venue here at Sonoma. It's going to be Tyler King in the starting of row number 6. With that, Jeff Stabnow in the 24 to his outside. 7's going to be the Catman, the 333 of James Vining, with Frank Harris in the 11 to his outside. Harris also looking for a better race here for the Cups compared to his truck. At evening, Carl Burke in the 53 going to be the starting for row number 8, with Bruce Lee Weaver in the 40 to his outside. Row 9, it's going to be Justin Yee in the 64. A little bit of a shocking start for that machine, expecting him to really charge through this field. With that, a BJ Tidrick, another driver expected to go through this field for the 72. Row number 10, top 20, Caden Anderson going to be all the way back here in that of the 19th position, with 20th going to be that of Briar Reynolds in the 12. Last couple of rows going to be that of Tyler Kim in the 30. He's got to find his way to stay on this track. Same for the 41 of Stephen O'Hare. Row number 12 going to be that of Troy Daggett. And Dana Rogers, another driver that struggled in the trucks, hopes for better luck here in the Cup machines. Our last row going to be Buckeyes, Aaron Cooper in the 71, with also that of Casey Duncan in the 17, back in row numbers 13.
26 trucks ready to go here. We had 25, or actually 23 starters take the green for the truck race at Sonoma that actually was on Thursday night. But as Samuel mentioned, we did we voiced that earlier, and the premiere is on the Live Sim Racing broadcast page, as we are also live with now the Cup race here. Monday night Sonoma, we're back with you again. And remember, when this broadcast comes off the air, live from Sonoma for the Cup cars, the Community Radio Network will have live coverage with Samuel Dyer and myself, Charles Wooten, on production on the call for the truck race that also happened on Thursday. All right, we're ready. Remember, Northwest trucks are off on Thursday. We got that Week 13 update coming up, and we're ready to bring this one to you, as it looks like Lake Peterson, Samuel, has changed the wrap job on his number 9 car. For a while, he changed it. Now it's back to the Hooters number 9 Chase Elliott colors.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense to switch over to Chase Elliott Kellers, especially when you're at a road course where Chase Elliott just thrives. It makes sense for, bring a little bit of good juju to yourself for Lake Peterson. But I mean, he's been on a tear whenever he's racing here. Lake is always going to be a driver to watch out for in these Cup cars. And also, Wesley, want to give note, similar thing happened with the Truck Series. Some drivers taking the opt-out and going to start on pit road. Brian Reynolds, Tyler Kim, Troy Daggett, and a big shocker, Sean Breisman going to be starting on pit road once we go green.
This race will be 50 laps. It will be, of course, 12 turns around Sonoma Raceway. You see them now working their way, snaking their way through the S's into turn number 10, 11A. 11A will then work its way, 11 to turn 11A. There'll be that sharp 45-degree turn that they're going to be coming up here in just a moment. This is around turn number 9 through the S's. The pits will extra there, right where that 45-degree turn is. And actually, they'll be ready to come to the green flag here in just a moment. You're going to hear the word S's. You're going to hear the uphill climb, the carousel. There's that sharp angle I mentioned as the pace car drops on and makes the right-hand turn onto pit lane instead of the left-hand turn. And we're ready now for the start. Look at this. Off of that turn 12, right around this corner. We're ready for it. On the drag strip side, Sonoma Raceway, ready, round 12, Northwest Cup, green is out. Ladies and gentlemen, you have a virtual race, and these kaleidoscope of colors wore their way up in the corners, number 1 and 2. Got to be balanced, got to be ready, going to be a tricky first couple of laps, I think, Samuel. But on the jump, it's Lake Peterson jumping out first.
Yeah, it's going to be a big thing of these drivers being patient in the early going. Everyone's trying to warm up these brakes. That's going to be the big thing for these drivers. They have a much bigger brake disc that they have on these Cup cars. Means that when you get on the brakes, you got to be a lot more smoother. You can easily lock up these brakes very easily. And also, you got to warm up your tires. So it's going to take time, about a lap or two, until you're really feeling comfortable. And that's why Paul Newton already losing 1 position, flew him up to 2nd. But Lake Peterson already finding himself almost 2 seconds ahead at 2nd place.
And that's just how good Lake Peterson is. And look at Paul Newton, remember the truck race winner here at Sonoma. He now falls back to 3rd. As Lake Peterson, you're on board with him. Remember the gears we were talking about? Obviously, Samuel, there's 4th and 5th gear now in these cars. Will they use 5th gear? That's the question.
I mean, 5th gear can be utilized at some moments of this track, but it's going to take a lot for them to really get up to speed. If you're going to see it, it's going to be on the entry of turn 11. You're seeing these drivers coming up to the boards here at turn number 10, coming across, going down into 3rd because you don't want to go up into the dirt. And then you slam down the throttle hard on the brakes as you get up to the cones. And these drivers going to go down to the 1st gear. Kind of surprised to see that from Lake Peterson, but feeling comfortable that he can get up to the gears and take off as they hit down into turn number 12.
Yeah, he's getting ready to work his way across the start-finish line, and he'll put lap number 1 on the board. And by the time he got to start-finish, he was up to 4th gear. 107-plus miles an hour there, up the hill into turn number 1 and 2. Making his way around that short part of the S's, if you will. This is a short part of the entrance, back past start-finish. And now he works his way into turn 4 and 5, which is actually where the carousel is, right here. If they didn't run the carousel, he'd run straight up like they've done before. But actually now, the carousel is back. It'll actually be really utilized in the real races this weekend at Sonoma, Samuel.
Yeah, getting to actually see the Cup drivers. But looking at this shot from above, see where that dark line, that's where the tire barriers are. If drivers go a little bit too fast into the carousel, carry too much speed, or the rear end just kicks out behind them, drivers can easily be trapped by those tires and could have to take a tow. So draw drivers into the carousel, one of the most dangerous aspects of this whole entire course.
Sonoma Raceway also has that NHRA drag racing facility right there at turn number 10, 11, and 12, as Samuel and I mentioned. As you see the high version of these drivers working their way, snaking their way, if you will, around the Infinity here at Sonoma Raceway. We'll look at them now. There's that tight turn right there that we were telling you about. Look at them up to speed. And then you got to get on the binders there, Samuel, working into 11 and 11A. And off that exit of the corner, pit road's in front of them. and then they work off turn 12 right back to start and finish. For the most part, I'm rather intrigued. Not many drivers having problems. No harm, no foul. We're 3 laps in, but man, it's Lake Peterson out in front.
Yeah, I mean, we wanted to make sure that our front runners weren't in trouble in our first 3 laps, but cannot say the same for some of the other drivers in the middle of this field. Caden Anderson, one of our biggest movers, majority of the time, had actually gone off the track and off the racing surface through the S's and has lost a lot of ground, and you can see it there. Hood issues for the 37. He's got to figure out how to just survive from here on out. Luckily, these drivers, like we saw, don't really get up to that of 5th gear, but some other drivers having issues even further up ahead. Dan West Jr., Jeff Stabnow, they're losing ground as both of the LSRTV teammates. They got to be careful for themselves, and it seems like really it's the heartbreaking zones where drivers are going off the racing surface and losing 1 to 3 positions each time.
Dan West Jr., there he is, the 55 from Shelton, Washington. He is currently 9th on the racetrack, the 2-time and defending Truck Series champion. A pretty dismal season start so far for him, and not only the Cup for trucks, but also he's just had 1 Cup win this year. That's all he's got for DWJ for the number 55, but definitely looking to turn things around in the truck season. Right now he sits in that number 9 position, looking to work the way around the track again. There goes Bruce Lee Weaver, Caden Anderson. Jeff Stabnow off course in the 24 LSRTV CRN 4K Ford.
That's going to be the 2nd time that he's gone off course, and again, losing more positions. That's a total of 4 that Jeff Stabnow has lost from his qualifying position, and he's got to be careful not to be going off too many times. Now, these cars do have that of a fast repair if needed, but like we saw during the trucks race, Wesley, you kind of want to save that either for the stage break or for that of the competition caution, I should say, or if you get yourself into heavy damage where you are forced in, you've blown your engine, you're forced to use a fast repair. Don't want to use that fast repair and that safety net at all during this race. You want to keep it for that perfect moment when you do get in trouble.
So a lot of time left to go here in this race. We're only lap number 4 of 50 with these cars. And for the most part, you know, so far, little hiccups with Jeff Stabnow, maybe some others, but as we see now, the 64, there's Justin Yee. He's in the top 10, trying to get after another Billings, Montana driver of John Ottenbacher, working lap number 450.
Well, there it is.
Well, oh my, I'm just gonna shut up, just Samuel. I'm just not gonna say anything else. Every time I say something about these guys, they just spin and crash.
Okay, I'm going to give you credit on this one, though, Wesley. I don't know about any others in the future, but that was more of a producer's, fault. But he might be beached. He's trying to get rolling. I thought he was about to be stuck there, but he's lost so much ground. This is over that of 20 seconds and more that Yee's just thrown away because of one simple mistake. Just got the rear end offloaded where he let off the gas. The rear end got squirrely. He had to get back on the binders, try to hold on, overcorrected, and now... yes, he's gained quite a bit of position, but he actually lost a total of that of 8 from what he gained from the start of this race. Not the way that Justin Yee wants this start of this race to go, but luckily we still have that competition caution that will reset everything.
Yeah, okay, it's Charles' fault. It's not my fault this time, okay? By the way, he falls back.
I'll give you this one.
Outside the top 15, by the way. Yes. A mulligan this time for me.
Yes. As as we're watching these drivers, this is 19th, 20th, 21st. As we're watching the Dunkin' Donuts, that of Casey Duncan. Just seeing a pack of drivers, some having damage, as that's going to be that of Rogers, who's not had the best, time here at Sonoma. Hoping for this to be over for himself and just limping away of these drivers further back. But speaking of up front, drivers having issues. Paul Newton falling from 3rd back to 6th, went off track at the carousel, similar spot of Justin Yee, and he's lost 2 positions because of it.
Yeah, we'll watch Paul Newton now. Winner of the truck race at Sonoma. Again, by the way, that race will air in its entirety on the Community Radio Network on our radio coverage. Of course, it's premiering live on LSRTV on another broadcast link, as well as the live feed here. So just click on that link while you're checking out this one. Maybe you can multitask. Maybe you got dual screens or dual TV. Put one channel on with, of course, the live Cup race now. And, of course, check out the truck race immediately following. We'll have the radio side of that broadcast coming up later on tonight as soon as this race concludes. Lap 5 of 50, it's Lake Peterson out in front, Ryan Bloom in second. And Samuel, only fitting to see Ryan Bloom having a good run in the truck race earlier that we voice tracked. And now Ryan Bloom also in a solid number 2 position. But again, he's 3.5 seconds back, if you will, to the leader, Lake Peterson.
Yeah, that's a lot of time that needs to be gained for that Ryan Bloom, and he's really not gaining any of it as the consistency is going to be leaning more towards Lake Peterson's last couple of laps. But I will say Lake Peterson and Ryan Bloom, the only drivers still running 1 minute and 40-second lap times. Everyone else is running a 1 minute and 41-second or slower time. So the speed certainly is our front to the cream of the crop are there. But some other drivers, they were hoping for some better days, and another driver going off track. That's Kevin Smith in the 00 as we're watching that of Sean Breisman. And again, the carousel striking many drivers. Dan West Jr. seems to be off track there as well, losing more ground. It's just, if we had one camera just sat at the carousel, I think we would see everyone slipping and sliding because of the rear ends just struggling to stay stable. But the one thing, Wesley, that we like about these Cup cars, the fact that it's so unstable for one driver, it's unstable for all drivers because this is a fixed setup race, meaning all the drivers are running the same exact car. It's about your wheelmanship and the skill of the driver from here on out.
All right, Paul Simon, slip sliding away, as you say, for sure. Definitely. There's the American touch-up number 41, Stephen O'Hare. Watching him now wheel and deal here around Sonoma. 6 laps into this. Okay, so it's not a 75-lap race. They made the decision to cut it to 50. And my question is this. Obviously, Samuel, in the truck race, we were told somewhere between lap 16 and 30 there would be a competition caution. We're thinking that the Cup race will have those same scenarios. Will it mimic the same lap as the truck race, or will it come before or after? Remember, lap 23 was when the yellow flag fell in the truck race earlier.
I believe that every single time we got to a road course, they've changed when that caution would fly. Sometimes it's sooner,
yes,
sometimes
sir.
It's later. It's never been the same for the same race week that we were at. So certainly drivers are going to hope that they don't get into, some are going to try to time it out. I like the way that Paul Newton planned out his time. He went for the exact limit on fuel right when his window opened up, knowing that we were most likely not going to go into overtime. Right when his window opened up, he came into pit road and it worked out for himself. But these drivers all trying to have some good runs for themselves. But Wesley, do have some sad news. Looks like Carl Burke missed out on the start of this race, as well as James Vining. He has parked it. Done is the 333.
Man, that's a tough break for James Vining, the legend, and Carl Burke as well. And hate to see that. The 51 of Troy Daggett on the pit lane, by the way, with Frank Harris. And by the way, Samuel, I think that's 2 races now for the trucks and Cup and Xfinity that James Vining was not able to make the call for.
Yeah, I mean, he was able to at least run a couple of laps, but just was not able to finish out. Just too much damage for himself. Might have been deciding to go with his start and park for this week. But James Vining certainly has been improving a ton from last season. I mean, if we think about last season, start of the season for that 333 team, to the way that he finished off the season and then the start of this 2022 season for himself, I gotta say, James Vining might be on my list of drivers most improved from the off season to now.
Yeah, he's definitely come a long way since he got attacked at the Cat at Michigan.
Very true, very true. Man, get the scare out.
Hey, there's another driver, BJ Tindrick, same year, 2020. Only win in the Northwest Racing Series Cup was at Darlington Raceway, the Yingling entry, number 72. And, of course, right now he's got a 11th place position outside the top 10 behind Caden Anderson. Raz and Anderson kind of quiet right now on the racetrack, as all the while Lake Peterson is leading the way. Ryan Bloom is second. Brian Barnes is third, Newton is fourth, and Smith the top 5. As a matter of fact, we will give you a full-filled rundown when we return. We're coming up on the top of the hour. We'll pause for 10 seconds of network identification on the Community Radio Network. This is iRacing on LSRTV, the Northwest Racing Series from Sonoma.
You're listening to the Community Radio Network. Follow us via social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at CRN Sports. Plus, listen to other games at 87.5 FM or join us anywhere worldwide at wearecrn.com. We are CRN.
The things we hear when we're on radio timeout from our producer. Welcome back, Charles Wooten, always doing a phenomenal job running the broadcast, online shopping for, guess what it is, Samuel? Food. We welcome you back. And we are coming up on 10 laps into this race. Samuel Dyer is filling in for Justin Prince, my friend, colleague from Canada, under the weather, not able to join us. Samuel Dyer joins us usually on the truck coverage. He is from California, only fitting to have the Californian. Is that how you say it, Californian? From Sonoma, joining us here tonight here in the broadcast booth. As right now, it is still Lake Peterson out in front. Ryan Bloom second. Barnes, Newton, Smith, the top five. We'll give you the full field rundown again. Lake Peterson out in front. Ryan Bloom second. Brian Barnes third. Paul Newton fourth. Kevin Smith, the top five. Don't flip-flop that. Paul Newton just went to fourth. Tyler King now goes to fifth, up 6 spots. Robert Gamble, Kevin Smith, Dan West Jr., John Adebacher, and right now, Samuel, it is Caden Anderson. Right now, the top 10.
Then it's BJ Tidrick, Toby Ritters, as well as Stefan O'Hare, Jeff Stabnow. That's battling we're watching currently for 12th position on screen. With that, Bruce Lee Weaver in 15th. With that, Brian Reynolds. That, Casey Duncan, Dana Rogers, Sean Bridesman, and finishing out your top 20, going to be Aaron Cooper. With that, Tyler Kim in 21st position. Being a lap down, Troy Daggett, Frank Harris, who both had to come into pit road for issues for themselves. Justin Yee as well into pit road. Might be calling it a day for that 64 that just continued to struggle. James Vining, the same thing for himself, is done. And also Carl Berg missing out on the start. And Wesley, I was noticing while we were going through this list,
Sure.
Cole Raz, nowhere to be found.
Nowhere to be found, Cole Rass. No, he's not. Actually, just looking at that myself, and you know, that's going to be interesting for the driver of the number 10. He's got 2 wins this year, 6 top 5, 7 top 10s, but he does not make race 12 of the season. This might open the door, possibly, for Brian Barnes, who, by the way, as we're on board with Jeff Stab now, Brian Barnes is in 3rd position. He's just one of those guys, Samuel, that, you know, we talked about him on the truck level, but we also, Justin and I, talk about him on the cup side of things. Brian Barnes is just, in the popsicle machine, consistent. He is just consistent. He might not be there to win at the end, but he at least does what he needs to be in contention, to have solid finishes. And in doing so, that's why he had a pretty good stranglehold lead for a while before Cole Raz passed him for the Cup Series championship standings. And now right in front of Stab down, Kevin Smith goes around to the 0-0.
Yeah,
he saves it. No harm, no foul. We still stay green. But yes, Brian Barnes, Samuel, doing really good in 3rd right now.
Yeah, Barnes, obviously, what driver with consistency. And you talk about consistency, you think about that of last season. Is just Stab now, overcorrects into the dirt, and he'll have to just putter his way back onto the racing surface, doing a little bit of, you know, gardening out, wanting to make sure the dirt and all the sand is cleaned off, and now onto the track and racing surface. But, you know, back with Brian Barnes, I mean, this is kind of looking like the way that Chris White won his championship. You know, might not have been winning every single race. He won a couple here or there, but it was consistency that put that of the 6 machine of Chris White in contention for a chance to win. This is exactly what Brian Barnes needs to do. Just stay consistent, place yourself in a scenario where once you get to that playoffs, get to the championship race, if you're there and you're part of the Final Four, it's all about where you finish, not always about winning the race.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. And of course, right now he is doing exactly what he needs to do. Be consistent. Be there at the end. Do what you need to do to put this self in contention. Is right now he is working around Aaron Cooper. Aaron Cooper is going to go a lap down, by the way. Only 18 cars on the lead lap. What do we have, Samuel? 8 trucks, I think, finished on the lead lap when the race ended. 10? Yeah. I think it was 10, actually.
It was around 8 or 9. It was we were coming up close to the end there. I believe we were down to 10 at the end of that race. It was certainly domination by that of Ryan Bloom, as well as that of, you know, seeing that of Paul Newton. They both were just so fast than everyone else, and they got the job done. As you see here, Barnes trying to get by the very slow Troy Daggett, who got back out on track. A couple of drivers, though, coming into pit road. Tyler Kim, as well as Casey Duncan, and surprise, Sean Bridesman into pit road for the 46.
Sean Brightsman now coming onto the pit lane. Of course, the Brights Boutique, number 46, not seeing the men jumping over the wall like we saw in the truck race. And by the way, we just want to say thanks again to Sean Brightsman for providing us with the broadcast. Because, Samuel, as you said, we had some of our crew under the weather, man, sick. Kind of like Justin Prince, not able to be here. He's under the weather. He's not feeling well either. And I hope our guys get to feeling well. And, of course, for that reason, that was why we were unable to if you will, have the live race on Thursday. But by the way, in sequence, I don't know how they set it up, but they did in premiere mode on our broadcast live Sim Racing TV channel. The truck race from Sonoma that Samuel and I called on Voice Track earlier is up and running, and of course this live race here for the Cup Series. So when you get done watching it live, check out the premiere of the truck race. Samuel, it was a pretty good show. Again, 50 laps. It had its moments of thrills and chills and spills. No caution flags except that one competition yellow. And for the most part, it was a very interesting 2-hour broadcast.
It really was. The final 4 laps, though, that was my favorite part of the whole entire race. It was dramatic at the end. You didn't know who was going to get the win at the end of the day. And if you'd like, you can have both streams open at the same time and just having them side by side if you'd like to. And you can choose which one you want to have muted. We're going to have both going at the same time. And here Wesley and I talking about 2 different races at the same time. As gotta love the fact that YouTube allows us to have, when we open up a video and upload it, we can have both live at the same time. And so as we are watching the Cup race live, the trucks race that we recorded before is also being premiered. That was something we recorded before that we're able to have up and open now for everyone here.
And by the way, don't forget a quick reminder that Samuel and I will be off on Thursday because it is the Week 13 update. The Week 13 update will be here, so we will actually be off on Thursday. Nothing is scheduled for the Northwest Racing Series. We come back, though, for races next Monday night, Worldwide Technology Raceway in St. Louis, Missouri. We'll get ready for that one, and that'll be an exciting one. We kind of saw a little sample of that with the Sim 500 tonight for Sim 500 action of the Cup Series, and John and I. And I thought it was a pretty interesting race before things kind of went offline. Bottom line, great work by Charles Wooten and the Rocket Media Live Sim Racing crew to get us back up on the air to get you ready for the Northwest Cup event. As here comes Toby Ritters. Look at him right now, Samuel. Solid run in 13th as we put 12 laps on the board, 37 to go. 1 hour, 38 minutes sim time remain in this race at Sonoma Raceway tonight.
Yeah, Toby Ritters, strong qualifying run for himself. Qualified up in that 10th place position. But, oh, no, there's Brian Reynolds who's going to have issues behind that of Toby Ritters, and he'll get that 12 machine rolling for himself. But there are a few drivers that are just in survival mode. They might have lost some positioning from where they qualified, but it also doesn't help when you got some fast drivers that did not put a time down. Stefan O'Hare up to 11th, up 11 positions, tied with the biggest mover of the day. Kane Anderson's up to 8th now. And as well, Dana Rogers, driver that struggled a lot during our trucks race, currently now up to 15th, puttering, staying alive, and right now ahead of the driver that we just saw go around and have issues, the 12 of that of Brian Reynolds.
Yeah, can you say staying alive? There's, of course, the 07, Dana Rogers. He had problem in the truck race, and, of course, problems with the snap-on 07 Racing Pinstripes. Number 07 Ford is right now, he looks like he's got the hood gone on the front of the car there as he's just trying to wheel and deal around the racetrack here. Racing still goes, oh, actually he still has the hood on. It's just a little damaged, if you will, Samuel.
Yeah, I mean, the official hood is removed. It's the grates that stay on, that are helping the engine stay cool for themselves. That's what's still on, that's whole held down and making sure the engine doesn't fly out. But yeah, Rogers, it's damaged, it's wounded, but he's still able to run some decent times for this 07. Again, in 15th position is Dana Rogers, but don't look now. You've got drivers that are taking positions. There goes the 12, as well as drivers on the lead lap.
Yeah, Dana Rogers. So I guess, you know, never second guess your first quest, because I was thinking he didn't have a hood there, and it actually does look like he has no hood there, just kind of keeping the valence of the engine and the, obviously, everything else just okay on the car. And you got to wonder, Samuel, saving that car, trying as best as he can to get to the competition caution, whenever that may be, for a fast repair, for sure.
Yeah, and we are now closing in on the window of the competition caution where it will strike at any moment now and come out for these drivers. A couple of teams have had to come into pit road, such as Sean Bridesman. He had some damage he wanted to get repaired, as well as taking some tires. Troy Daggett in a similar spot, as well as Tyler Kim. Drivers that are a lap down, coming in, taking some tires, making sure that they've also got a bunch of damage repair, because a lot of them do not want to be forced into a must use your fast repair so quick. But drivers that are racing for position, this is for the top 5. It's going to be that of Tyler King and Robert Gamble. And Gamble, driver, similar position, I think, back as Caden Anderson goes off track out of that of 3B.
Yeah, Caden Anderson over there going off the racetrack right before you enter the carousel there on the speedway, and already off the carousel in his own world as a leader, Lake Peterson. And there you see Lake Peterson now trying to run down. No, my apologies. That's actually Robert Gamble. Robert Gamble and Tyler King for position. That's actually for 5th and 6th on the racetrack. But Samuel, here's the deal. They're still like 30 seconds back to the leader of Lake Peterson.
That they are. And also I was looking at our telemetry. It looks like Caden Anderson went off again for himself. Just, it's one of those things where if you see a driver have issues, lock up their brakes, make a spill, make a spin before they get to the carousel and any of that first stage or sector of this racetrack, and then they have that wear on their tires and go in the carousel, they're most likely going to go off the track. And that of Caden Anderson. Again, road courses, not the most favorite thing for this 37. We get to a normal oval, more traditional racetrack of seeing asphalt racing. This 37 is in his comfort zone and always a threat to win, but here tonight, it's more of just survive and hope for a top 10.
Oh, and mind you, by the way, the if you will, hood is gone on Caden Anderson's car, just like we were talking about the other recent driver that we were mentioning with the hood gone.
Wesley, sorry to cut you off. Ryan Bloom, looks like issues for the 25.
Oh no, Ryan Bloom, second place man for the longest time, and now problems coming around the corner there, right before you enter the S's on the racetrack there. Samuel, you saw it kind of break loose for him there.
Just locked up the brakes, and this is when it's going to get real frisky going through the carousel again. It looks like he's going to be all right based on our live telemetry, but out of the corner, coming down in and try to get a wide entry, just locks up the brakes and tries to get on the throttle too soon. And right here, he's in a really bad spot. Tries to go up and around the hill. That's going to be costing you time, and he's going to slide down the hill. There's no grip there. It's not made for these two cars to go up, and is going to be losing 2 positions for Ryan Bloom, being passed by that of Barnes as well as that of Newton. And now going to be falling back to 4th place is Ryan Bloom as we go back for the battle for 5th place.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on this again as they work their way back around. And look at all the while, Barnes has now moved his way to 2nd. Here you go, Tyler King and Robert Gamble, 5th and 6th again on the racetrack, racing for position. There goes Gamble up on the outside, inside, driver left. Here comes, oh, look out, Audenbacher. Audenbacher driving in a little too hard in the corner, and Caden Anderson will capitalize. So will also Tedrick on the inside, get it on the binders, and driver right to Audenbacher. He couldn't reel him in there. And again, as you said, Samuel, as they work off turn 12, this is going on for positions number 8, 9, and 10. This is for track position, mind you, with still 13 cars in the lead lap. We await any moment now when they throw the competition caution. We knew that it was sometime between laps 16 and 30, and I'm understanding that Jeff Stabnow, the Billings, Montana native of the 24 LSRTV CRN 4K Ford, Samuel, has also joined the entrance of retiring from the race early.
Yeah, there is a long list of drivers that are calling it a night early here. We're not even at halfway, and you see our ticker board, and there's just, it continues to grow on the amount of drivers that are saying, you know what, I think I'm done. Starting from Jeff Stabnow in 19th and 18th, I think Troy Daggett's still out on track, but from 19th all the way back to 26th place, all drivers basically saying we're done. Still out on track are a few, but if you go a lap down, you continue to struggle, most likely you're going to be calling it a night early, because for a lot of these drivers, they use up their fast period. You see here of O'Hare, just heavy front end damage. It has been a struggle for majority of these drivers as Dak gets off track again.
There goes another one of those cars, Stephen O'Hare's car, like Anderson and Rogers and others that have, of course, the hood missing on the front end of the car, just the valence protecting the engine, if you will, from damaging. And all the while, here's this battle for position. It's Tidrick and Ottenbacher, 9th and 10th, going at it, trying to run down Caden Anderson also. Lap 18 of 50. As they work off turn 12. Boy, Anderson got a little loose there, Samuel, working off the exit of turn 12, coming to start finish.
Yeah, we're 18 laps into this race. Still have not seen any of the signs that we're going to be seeing this competition caution coming soon. And that means that these drivers starting to feel a lot more of that wear and tear on their tires. If you base it off of Lake Peterson, our leader, based on to his best lap that he's ran all night, 3 seconds is the difference. For other drivers, it's 2 seconds off of their best time. Others, it's 4, just showing that the tires, the grip's gone, and they are slipping and sliding. It is a tough night so far. And Wesley, another big thing to watch out for is the weather. We talked about it during qualifying. It was very scorching hot for the track temp. 122 degrees was the track temp for that of qualifying. For the race temp, that's another thing to watch out for, is Anderson's off. Same spot, he's been off about 4 times this race already.
And what a great save by BJ Tidrick and John Ottenbacher to not only advance positions, but to also get on the binders and quickly get to the top side of the road course to avoid those cars. No harm, no foul. Anderson goes along, but he lost some ground there by about 10 car lengths from Tidrick and Ottenbacher around the racetrack as we are approaching lap 20.
Lap 20, right around the bend for these drivers, and for Lake Peterson, he doesn't want to see a competition caution. The gap right now over that of 13.5 seconds and growing for the 9 machine. But for other drivers, such as John Ottenbacher, BJ Tidrick, I would imagine they would enjoy to have some fresh rubber so they can battle each other a little bit more equally. But certainly they continue to be as hard as they can, as Anderson just can't handle it anymore. Into pit road is the 37.
I wonder if Caden Anderson might be done for. I wonder if he might be parking it, or he might be making a bold strategy to pit before the competition caution as well. Remember in the truck race at Sonoma on Thursday, they threw the competition caution on lap 23. Now, I'm not saying that that's the lap it's going to be thrown, as he just takes a fast repair. He's got his car fixed, 4 tires and fuel. Samuel, this might be a strategy to get back in this race here quickly before the yellow comes out.
Yeah, and especially on the fact that these cars can take a lot more fuel than those truck machines can on Thursdays, and so I wouldn't be surprised if they continue to do that. As
Rogers,
you see,
off course.
Rogers, same spot, up to turn 2, and now going to be seeing others trying to get by him. Watch out as they're getting on track, as Rogers not collecting that of Bridesman, but now Anderson, fresh new vehicle, the 37. Let's see if he's going to keep it clean for the rest of the race, or if it's going to get even more damaged up, as hey, Kevin Smith, that's not the racetrack you want to be on.
No, we're not off-road racing for Kevin Smith. He's back on course again, the Hermiston, Washington native. Caution, again, we are waiting it for this competition yellow. 20 laps in. There's Aaron Cooper. There's Sean Breitzman. This goes on the racetrack for position. Both cars a lap down, but this is for 15th and 16th there, Samuel.
Yeah, Sean Breitzman, Aaron Cooper, and you got to remember Sean Breitzman deciding to start on pit road. He technically was last of those that took off from pit road. He's done a great job recovering up to 15th place, but he qualified technically up in that of 8th place in 8th and 7th position. So still a lot, you know, there's speed in this 46. It's just he's made it a lot tougher on himself starting this far back.
So Lake Peterson continuing to lead. There you see now Stephen O'Hare and Anderson. Anderson just pitted. He has now got right back after O'Hare and Ritters. Believe it or not, Samuel, this is for positions on track 12 and 11 to stay on the lead lap. And he's still in the lead lap as O'Hare locks the car up in the corner of the exit of turn 11 to 12. And this allows Anderson to reel back in those 2 cars as they work off turn 12 back to start finish.
We got Toby Ritters trying his best just to hold off for every position possible. You got O'Hare, who's beaten, battered, bruised, and destroyed, but still running strong. And then you got the shiny new clean 37. Kate Anderson just used this fast repair, and now he's going to be trying to attack to go after these positions. And as we're watching this battle going on again for 11th place, here comes Paul Newton, same lap that he came in during the trucks race. He's going to be coming in again for the cup, hoping that this is going to be the strategy that wins him tonight's race. But he's going to need a lot of help if he wants to figure out how to beat Lake Peterson.
Paul Newton again pitting. He is giving up. He was in the top 3, top 4. Had a little spot problems earlier in the race, but for the most part, doing okay. He's now making his way to his pit stall. Might be doing some strategy like Caden Anderson did, maybe pitting before the caution comes out. We know the yellow flag is coming. We just don't know when. There's a competition caution scheduled somewhere by the Northwest Racing Series officials between laps 16 and 30. There's still 9 laps left to go to decide when they want to throw a caution. They might throw the yellow flag on lap number 30. They might throw the yellow flag on lap number 21. At any time, Samuel, we might see this. Remember, in the truck race, it was lap 23 when they threw the yellow flag at Sonoma for the truck series. So I just want you to be mindful of that. But I really don't think they're going to try to mimic that same thing.
No, it's a random number that they put out for the drivers. They do not tell the drivers. They do not tell us. The reason why we are not notified, our producer might know, but us as announcers, we are not told of when the time is and what lap it is, because some of the drivers actually come in and they listen to our broadcast live. So if we give any type of help and assistance, that is giving those drivers an advantage over those that do not have our stream open. So to make sure all things are fair for all drivers on track, us as announcers aren't told when the caution's going to come out, so it's going to be a surprise for us as well, as O'Hare getting the service done. We'll see if he's going to use that fast repair on the 41 or not, and it looks like just tires and good to go.
When you see that scoring ticker on the top left go yellow, that's when we'll know. When we know, you'll know. And that's all we can say in honesty. There's Troy Daggett, of course, his car several laps down behind the wall. He's out. Here comes now, of course, the number 21, Tyler King, American touch-up entry on the pit lane, joining Stephen O'Hare, their teammates for Beaver State Racing. Work being done now. And Samuel, I'm seeing this strategy. Ryan Bloom going around. He was third on the racetrack. Ryan Bloom, 2021 ARC Northwest champion. Now he arcs the front nose in the wall, and that's going to take a lot of time trying to get back going again. And he doesn't take a tow, but he finally gets rolling, Samuel. But here's what happened to him coming out of the S's.
And this is exactly why the S's are one of the more popular places to be watching. You get on the hill, you get in the grandstands here at Sonoma, and you see drivers make mistakes like this, just come into too much speed, going down into, seeing these drivers maximizing how fast they go through the S's. But Wesley, as we watch this is going to be coming up through the hill section of turns 2 up to 3A and 3B, when we're going to see Ryan Blumen already seeing the tire wear issues for the 25. He's going a little bit wider than he wants, burning more of the tire rubber. We're already 22 laps into this race, but as he comes up the hill, watch out for the rear end for this machine. Each time it comes around these corners, it's just going to look like it's going to step out each and every time. He tries to hold on, but it's going to be right up here. And this is where I was sitting the one time that I went to Sonoma to watch. It's coming up to the crest of 3B, where you come over, hit the bump, and then you go for a ride when you hit the throttle.
Man, oh man. And then he arcs the car front nose into the barrier there, and then that just lost about another 20 seconds worth of time. Yeah. By the way, we have surpassed lap number 23. Lake Peterson is the leader, and he is still not pitted. 23 of 50 laps, 2 laps, if you will, to halfway. We await the yellow flag somewhere between 16 and 30. There's a 7-lap window that remains before we see the Banana Republic flag yellow come out. And right now, Ryan Bloom, even after all of those hiccups and problems there, Samuel, he will still be in third, but Dan West Jr. is right hot on his heels for the top 3 podium spot as they go back across up the hill. And now you see Tyler King going after, it looks like, Paul Newton on the racetrack.
That is, and for Tyler King, he pitted a lap after Paul Newton. This is a very important pass that could be happening for the 21 over the 27. Because, Wesley, if we look back at the trend for the trucks race, it actually was not Paul Newton that led coming to the end. He had to go with the tire strategies, and Gamble goes off course in front of that of Smith and others as they go up through 3A and 3B, and Rogers as well. Very tight course and spot where you don't want to go side by side. But it was the drivers that decided to pit that of Paul Newton during the trucks race early. Got that track position once the competition caution came out that allowed that of the 27 to win that race. This is going to be a lot harder of a test for himself as here comes Barnes into pit road. But Lake Peterson's got to be careful. The longer this race goes on without the competition caution, more drivers are going to come into pit road, which is going to put Lake Peterson deeper in the field once he has to come into pit road at our stage break if he doesn't come in during our green flag stint here.
11 trucks right now, or 11 cars for that matter, correction, on the lead lap as we are approaching halfway here in just a couple of more laps, as you still see Lake Peterson picking them up and putting them down in that throwback number 9 Chase Elliott Hooters machine Chevrolet Camaro. Lake Peterson, when he wins, if he wins tonight, 5 wins on the season, if you will. He has the most wins of anybody else on the series, if at 4, but he wants to increase that. And obviously, Samuel, in the last year and a half, when Lake Peterson comes to town in truck or cup, you got to. Oh, Anderson, look out. Anderson, oh my goodness, and that's going to be a speeding penalty. Oh my God.
No, not yet.
Well, not yet.
Slam the wall. Right there is the cone. You can fly. You can bounce off that if you'd like, but Lake Peterson also going to be coming into pit road right now. Anderson had to be aggressive because he has to stay on the lead lap if he's going to come in now.
Would it not be something if Lake Peterson comes to the pit lane and then they throw a caution? I mean, he literally stayed out in strategy to stay in the lead. But here's the thing. He has over 30-second lead over Barnes. The pit stop for Peterson. He's either going to come back out as the leader still in pits in the lead on exit, or he is going to be right there with Barnes. 20 seconds now the difference between Lake Peterson and Brian Barnes. Now 15 seconds. Here comes Anderson. Whatever he did, he tried to prepare. He's back on track. Here comes now Peterson, and he is going to come back out, Samuel Dyer, as the leader by 5 seconds, if you will, to Barnes.
And it's really no surprise. That was around the mark that it was before Barnes had to come to pit road. If anything, it might have been around that of, 7 seconds was the difference between the two. But Barnes not able to gain as much as you'd like with the undercut. It was only a 1-lap difference between when Barnes came into pit road compared to Lake Peterson. Not enough time to try to make the pass over positioning-wise. But this is a battle for position. Got to be seeing drivers as that Rogers goes off track. But that battle that was going on between Ryan Bloom and also Dan West Jr. This is for 3rd place in 2 drivers that have not come into pit road. We still need to see Ryan Bloom, Dan West Jr., BJ Tidrick, and also John Ombacher all still need to come in pit road. On top of that, Kevin Smith and Toby Ritters that are trying to stay on the lead lap. On top of that, they still need to come to pit road.
Oh, and mind you, we still have yet to see the yellow flag. We've gone 2 or 3 extra laps compared to the truck race at Sonoma earlier in the week when the caution flag came out on lap 22. We are officially now halfway home in this race when they come back to start finish. 25.65% here on this almost 3-mile road course at Sonoma Raceway. Samuel Dyer, Wesley Outland back here with you. You are listening on the Community Radio Network. You are watching live on iRacing on LSRTV. Remember, replays of these races are always available as well. If you watch it live and you got to go to bed, get ready for work the next day, and you're laying in the lounging around at the house, if you're not working, or if you're just at home relaxing, or if you're at work and there's the caution. It came out just after halfway on lap number 26 of 50. But as I was saying, Samuel, as we get ready for the yellow flag, you can be able to watch it live like now, cut it off, save it, and then go back and watch it tomorrow, whether you're at work or driving down the road, listening on the radio as well. It's really cool, the things that we've got for the Northwest Racing Series for their coverage of broadcasting.
Yeah, you always can go back, rewatch favorite moments over and over again, or if you need some mental motivation, you can keep watching over and over your worst moments that these drivers have been having. So for them, certainly excited to see the yellow come out for some, such as that of Toby Ritters as well as Kevin Smith, that still needed to come into pit road. But for a lot of these drivers that are already coming to pit road, the question is, do you come in to take a set of tires if you feel like you were out there for too long because of the fact that Lake Peterson already came into pit road? Do you decide to just stay out, take the track position for that of Paul Newton, King, and Gamble? Because they saw all the drivers that came into pit road earlier than this yellow certainly did take a gamble, and they were, I would imagine, hoping for Lake Peterson and Barnes to stay out. They came into pit road.
So here's the thing. On a lot of other races beside road courses, the unknown is wondering if we're going to go into overtime. It's not about distance. That's different here for the road courses for iRacing, here for the Northwest Racing Series for Cup and Truck. You know that you're going to run 50 laps total. That's your distance. Lake Peterson has made his decision as he catches up to the pace car. He is not coming to pit. He is, of course, the leader. He had already pitted probably a lap and a half before the yellow flag fell. And I wouldn't even say a lap and a half, Samuel. I think that's a lie. It was almost half a lap. He was almost half a lap and already pitted before the caution flag fell. So I don't think we're going to see a lot of takers, unless they're in the back, come to the pits. But as I was talking about distance and strategy, you know all you got to do, Samuel, is get to lap 50. That's it. You ain't worried about overtime. You're not worried about 2 attempts or limited attempts of the green-white checker. You know you got to get right here to the finish line, lap 50. We saw drivers stretch out those fuel runs, their tire runs. Lake Peterson, made close to 26 laps, if you will, before finally he pitted. I think he can go to the finish and go the distance.
Yeah, I'd imagine all the drivers that had come into pit road before the yellow came out, they all feel secure that they can make it to the end. The question is, though, for the majority of these drivers, we know our front two are not going to come into pit road. For that of Ryan Bloom, Dan West Jr., and as well for B.G. Tindrick and John Ottenbacher, they're going to have to come to pit road, as well as Kevin Smith and Toby Ritters. They're going to have to come because they never did during the green flag racing, but it's looking at that of Paul Newton as well as Tyler King and Robert Gamble, and also Ken Anderson, who had already come in. They are going to have to figure out how to come into pit road. And Wesley, you do have feedback up on your end, by the way.
Yeah, I don't think it's me. I don't think it's me. It's our producer watching the truck race, Samuel. The truck race from earlier.
I'm sorry. It's usually you that gives me feedback, not our producer. So I was assuming that it was you.
That's my feedback. Obviously. Samuel, Lake Peterson, sheer domination. Now, if you remember the truck race that we did, we saw Ryan Bloom dominate the first half of the race. And then the final half of the race, Paul Newton took advantage of a pit strategy. That is all out the window here. Paul Newton, obviously, on a pit strategy, got around Ryan Bloom. We're here now for the Cup cars. Lake Peterson has jumped out in the lead. He's been in the lead. He came in the pits as the lead. He exited as the lead. He is staying in the lead as Ryan Bloom, Dan West Jr., B.J. Tindrick, Todd, Ottenbacher, they're all getting ready to come to the pit lane there.
Yeah, those are all the drivers that did not pit under green flag scenario, so they're all going to be coming in, using their set of tires, potentially using their fast repairs, and then getting back out on track. But that's going to be losing them a lot of time in positioning, which is now going to be putting Paul Newton back in third. But Newton's going to be having the oldest tires for the rest of the race from here on out.
Now here's the thing. Here's the thing. You got to remember this now. Samuel, they're going to be doubled up for the restart. They're going to be double file. And we also know how exciting and how crucial these restarts are. This restart coming up could possibly determine the outcome of the race. For somebody like Brian Barnes or Paul Newton, you want to be flawless. You want to be there and make a quick jump on, of course, the leader, that is Lake Peterson. but you don't want to make a mistake and get penalized. But you can see so many things. The outcome of the race can be decided right here in this restart when we come back to green.
It definitely can, especially on the fact that with these drivers, with all the pacing that they're doing, they're cooling off their tires, they're cooling off the brakes, meaning when we go green, these brakes are going to be cold, the tires are going to be cold, and when we finally go up into turn 2, that is going to be the most dangerous aspect of this restart, where drivers potentially could be running over one another if someone locks up their brakes. So got to be careful. Even if you're a leader, you're not safe from someone else or even your own mistakes.
Let's give you your full field rundown as we are still under the yellow flag here at Sonoma Raceway. Lake Peterson is the man that is leading the way. He's led since the drop of the green flag. Brian Barnes is up second, 2 positions. Well, Paul Newton back 1 to 3rd. Tyler King up 7 spots in 4th. Robert Gamble up 1 in 5th. Then it's Brian Bloom in 6th. Even though all the bad luck he had, 3 spots back, he's still in the top 10. Dan West Jr. started 9th, he's up to 7th, up 10 spots. BJ Tendrick in 8th. John Onenbacher back 1 in 9th. And Kevin Smith back 5 spots from the start of this race. Though Samuel, he is currently in the top 10.
Up 8 positions from where he qualified. In 11th to be Caden Anderson, down 2 from where he started. Stubby Ritter's in 12th. With that, Stephen O'Hare still in pit road for the 41 machine, as well as Sean Bridesman's going to be our first driver, 1 lap down in 14th, with Brian Reynolds in 15th, 1 lap down for Aaron Cooper in 16th. Dana Rogers going to be 2 laps down in 17th. Troy Daggett still in pit road, having issues for the 51, and then everyone from 19th on back, all out of this race. Jeff Stabnow, Tyler Kim, that of Bruce Lee Weaver, Casey Duncan, Frank Harris, Justin Yee, as well as James Vining, your 25 drivers that started this race. Carl Burke missed out. Could have been 26 drivers in total. As everyone's in line, ready to go, we got ourselves 13 drivers on the lead lap as Stephen O'Hare was able to get rolling.
And there has been only 1 caution flag, and that was the competition yellow that came out on lap number 26, working lap number 27. Samuel Dyer is here. I'm Wesley Outland. We've got, of course, Charles Wooten, Jeff Stabnow, Rocket Media, Live Sim Racing, and Community Radio Network coverage here tonight from Sonoma Raceway, race number 12 of the season in the 2022 Northwest Racing Series, Season 3 for the Cup cars, the next-gen car. Definitely different than the truck. Samuel, you're taking this race so far, as we'll have 20 laps to go when they come back to green flag. And by the way, the lights are off for the pace car.
Yeah, I mean, we talked at the top of the broadcast how it was going to be very tough for these drivers to handle these cars, and it certainly has shown. That carousel has been the toughest aspect of it, as well as the entry into turn 4, those hard braking zones, the brake lockups, as well as the struggle on getting back into the throttle. I think drivers have been shifting down maybe a gear or so too low for maybe their likings. They get spun around, that rear end just wants to kick out on them. I think everyone needs to be a little bit more on the patient side of things from here on out. But the ultimate goal, figure out how to beat Lake Peterson. And I don't know if anyone really can, but Barnes is certainly going to give it his best effort.
I have said this before, and I will say it again. To first win the race, you must first finish. It's whether virtual or reality. Bottom line, that's about to go down as these drivers are about to go 2 by 2 by 2 by 2 by 2 for the restart. When they come back to the Geico restart zone, there is only 13 cars on the lead lap, compared from Peterson to O'Hare, and that is the way it stands right now. Ready for the green flag as the pace car will make the left-hand turn. I think I said right-hand turn earlier. My apologies. They'll make the left-hand turn all the way around the other side of pit wall through turn number 11, 11A to turn 12. Samuel, the important restart. It's about to happen. Right here, you got to let Peterson go first, but Brian Barnes has got to be licking his chops, ready to pounce. Help there from Tyler King. Green flag, we're bucking our way with under 20 to go here at Sonoma, up the hill to 1.
The big thing for Barnes is he's got to make sure that he's to the inside in the entry of turn 2. Up the hill they go, and he's right there, but too wide, too slow potentially, but they're still side by side. It's going to be seeing Lake Peterson ahead, a better launch out of turn 2. And now you're just banked on the 9 making a mistake, which he has not done all night long. Peterson in the better positioning.
Man, Lake Peterson has just been flawless. If there's anybody in that group that I would say that might have a shot to get after him, would be Paul Newton. And that would have to be Samuel, because he won the truck race. They're working their way through the small S's to the carousel now, and it is still Peterson, the man out in front.
But there's going to be Barnes right on his back bumper. And Wesley, we talk about how Newton could be the driver to watch out for. The bad thing, the best lap that's been put down all night long goes to Lake Peterson, a full second faster than Newton.
Yeah, it's just amazing how fast that Lake Peterson is. Obviously, Paul Newton put on a phenomenal job of the truck race, but you got to remember, Paul Newton got the lead on strategy on the pit exit on Ryan Blue in the truck race. That's how he dominated the second half of the race. Lake Peterson has dominated the last 30 laps since the drop of the green flag. Nobody has caught or gave Lake Peterson any kind of a fit. You got to wonder at Brian Barnes, Lake Peterson. Look at Robert Gamble. What a drive for him. He's in the top 5 at Tyler King. Are they playing possum? Are they waiting for that moment? Don't wait too long, Samuel, because we know what the 9 will do. As he crosses start-finish, he will pull away from the field.
He's already going to be gone. If anything, it's, again, waiting for a mistake for that of Lake Peterson. And big credit to that of Brian Barnes. He just put down his fastest lap of the day. Only thing that's discouraging about it, again, just like Paul Newton, a full second slower than Lake Peterson's fastest lap. And even that last lap, a half a second off of Lake Peterson. I mean, Lake is already, his slow laps are faster than everyone else's fast laps.
20 laps to go with Lake Peterson out in front. Brian Barnes in that second position. Newton third. Gamble, King, you see them working their way now off the exit of the carousel. Back around the main part of the racetrack to turns number 5, 6, 7, and 8 through the S's. And all the while, it has been Peterson. There's Brian Barnes. There's that popsicle Matco Tools entry. Samuel, whatever happens today, okay, here's the thing. Think big picture in that Toyota. If I can't win the race, Samuel, I at least can be consistent, finish second, and he'll probably go away from Sonoma with the points lead, because Cole Raz is nowhere to be found tonight.
Yeah, Cole Raz nowhere to be found, but luckily there are drop weeks in this series. So you can miss up to that of, I believe, 2 or 3 races, and you are still going to be good on points. And drivers will automatically be losing whatever race they missed, or the race has the least amount of points. They will be removed, and then you keep your best finishes and at best averages of the season. That's what gets kept and gets moving forward. And not moving forward is that 41. You're moving in the wrong direction. Let's get back on the racing surface as again the carousel striking once more.
Boy, he was given a nice view to the entire fans in those grandstands over there at the carousel, where normally, Samuel, you've always said you like to sit at there in 3 and 4.
Yeah, you get right where that incident was, it's a little bit too steep down the hill. But, we talk about drivers trying to find a little bit more speed. How do you beat Lake Peterson? Well, a lot of drivers, our top 6, all just put down their fastest lap of the day. And Wesley, again, Lake Peterson, a full second faster than Brian Barnes. And that was Brian Barnes' first, it's the first driver to crack into the 1 minute 39s besides Lake Peterson. But Lake Peterson cracks the 1 minute and 38 second lap window, as there's Dana Rogers off track, the 07, struggling once more. The trucks race wasn't enough. It's carried over to the Cup race.
1:38.98. 1 minute 38 seconds 98 there for Lake Peterson, as Samuel reiterated on. Brian Barnes 1:39.86. 1:39.90 for Robert Gamble, who just got around Tyler King to move to the number 4 position, as that just happened on racetrack here just a moment ago. We're under 20 laps to go, and mind you, Samuel, Tyler King taking out some cones, still keeps going and rolls into the number 5 position. I was going to say, Samuel, right now, the top 5, if you will, only separated by 4 points. They are literally hoping that Lake Peterson can make a slip. One wrong slip, and you put Barnes and Newton back in this game again.
Yeah, well, you would if Lake Peterson didn't put down the fastest lap again for himself. Yeah. That time being a 10th faster than his previous lap, and everyone else still nowhere close to even matching that of the same speed of Lake Peterson. I mean, Barnes, credit to himself, same to Newton. They're now only, instead of a full second off of that of Lake Peterson, they're now only about a half a second off of that 9 machine, who's still pulling away each lap after lap in each corner. And for Barnes, like you know, Non, needs a major mistake from Lake Peterson, and some other drivers, they're making big mistakes for themselves as, oh, there goes again the carousel striking once more.
That's Ryan Bloom, 2021 ARCA Northwest champion. Nowhere to go. He finally tries to get going again, and he had to stall for a few minutes, Samuel, because there were cars and traffic coming after him. He lost a lot of ground because of it. He falls back now 23 seconds to the leader in 11th.
Yeah, that blind corner of the carousel, you really have to just trust the telemetry that you're given in your black box that iRacing gives you, telling the intervals of drivers behind and in front of you. And if you feel like you've got a clear enough window, you gun it once you're in those type of blind spot scenarios. But this battle for 8th place, this is a good battle to see. John Ombacher, Kane Anderson. Anderson, again, who'd already used a fast repair at 37. He's been fast at moments, but the inconsistency is what's been hurting him. And speaking of inconsistency, well, I mean, you can say that he's been consistently off the track. There's Brian Reynolds.
Yeah, we'll keep it on Brian Reynolds again, as he is just, again, having one of those up and down kind of days. Matter of fact, for the most part, we haven't really talked that much about Brian Reynolds, but he's been solidly in the top 15. He's one lap down behind Sean Brightsman. And there's Caden Anderson. Samuel amongst Caden Anderson's car. Adenbacher around in front of Brightsman.
That is not where you want to loop it, and now he's got to find himself being spun back around, and he can't. He's going to be back at the wall. He's got to back up. This is costing him even more time. He's got to make sure he doesn't nose it.
This is what happened to Caden Anderson, if you remember, Samuel. He made that same mistake, and it cost him. And all the while, and I was just going to say this about Caden Anderson, amongst all the bad luck that he's had in the 37, Samuel, he is still on the lead lap, beaten, battered, damaged, banged, bruised, and he's still on the lead lap in the number 8 position.
Yeah, still in 8th, and still, I mean, you got to be fighting every way that you can to keep on going. But with 17 laps to go, there is still a lot of time to be throwing this race away if you make any types of mistakes for yourself. And, you know, for Anderson, tied with the biggest mover of the day, same with that of BJ Tidrick. But looking at other drivers right now, I mean, Tyler King, 5th, and right now runner at this moment. He's got Dan West Jr. trying to close in the gap. But Wesley, speaking of gap, we talked about how that of Lake Peterson, if he was going to throw this race away, he was going to have to make some mistakes. That last lap certainly was off the pace. We'll see this go around, but I got to give credit to Barnes. He's keeping it closer than I would imagine that he usually would. But I got to say, I think Barnes might be thinking the long run here of saving these tires, while Lake Peterson was putting down the fastest laps of the race, lap after lap, for about 4 to 5 laps straight.
Yeah, we got to keep an eye on that there as we come up on 16 laps to go. Again, this race will take you all the way to the checkered flag now, as all the while it is Mr. Lake Peterson leading. There's Brian Barnes, another stellar day in that Toyota number 4. He is going to leave here again, besides the count of the drop races, as Samuel mentioned. Oh, and Samuel, another thing to think about, even if you might miss a week or two if you're on vacation or whatnot, what if you commit to running the entire schedule, and let's say you have like a bad race and you finish like 40th or 35th or whatever. You can take those races that are bad races and scratch them away. Take it away.
Yeah, it's the drop races help out. Make sure that you're not, making sure everyone's got the best opportunity. They take away about 2 to 3 races to make sure that everyone, if you do have vacation, sick days, like, some of us here at LSRTV have been having in the last couple of weeks, you're not being punished by missing a race or two. But there is a limit on races that you can miss, and that's what hurt Cole Raz last season in that of the Cup and Truck sides of things, where he missed too many races, wasn't eligible for the playoffs because he missed out. So drivers do have to make a minimum amount of races throughout the season, but that's the nice thing about these drivers having, having a drop race here or there.
Lake Peterson is the leader. O'Hare goes off, slams the inside or the road course barrier, the back end of the car. Rear end of the 41, back around, and there you go again, Samuel, right there entering the carousel. Another one snake bit. Dan West Jr. goes around right in the middle of the carousel on exit.
Yeah, and drivers now making those mistakes. Again, we've been, for these drivers, it's been a while since they've been into pit road. This is around the time that we were seeing it during our first stint of these drivers, about 15 to 18 laps into a run. When you've used up these tires, you start to feel the wear and tear, and that's what these drivers are feeling right now. That's what I just saw about 3 or 4 just go off track in an instant.
Dan West Jr. right there. He is in 7th, 15 laps to go. Anderson in 8th, and he is running him down. That's what I mentioned, Samuel. As beaten, battered, and banged as that car is, it is still somehow, some way staying in the fight. But Barnes has lost ground to Peterson. It's now a 2-second lead. And as you said, Blake Peterson is just getting faster and faster and faster. 139.89 over everyone else, a second back.
Yeah, I mean, right now, I mean, for Blake Peterson, he's doing everything right at this moment. And, you know, that gap that once was shrinking, it's starting to get a lot bigger. Barnes, who was trying for just a couple of laps there, thought maybe he was going to find some more consistency. It's fallen off. And, you know, you can only save so much before the car just feels like it's out of hand. And that's what we're starting to see now is this last go-around. Lap time starting to equal out. It's no longer in a true advantage for that of like Peterson, but Barnes is doing his best. But gotta say, this battling on that was on screen there for a second, it is looking good here. Wesley Anderson, that of Dan West Jr., Kevin Smith also, and that's gonna be that of Sean Breisman, who's a lap down. Started to put some laps that are looking mighty speedy, and gotta give credit to Sean Breisman. He's the first car a lap down. Hates to see where he's at right now, but he's starting to close up. He's gonna make this mixy between the drivers that are racing for position.
Anderson and West, they battle for 7th and 8th. By the way, still 13 cars on the lead lap. 14 laps to go. And for the first time tonight, for that matter, Samuel, in our broadcast here at Sonoma, we are starting to see in virtual wine country some cloud cover as John Audenbacher goes off course on the exit of the carousel. Brian Reynolds as well, heading into the S's.
Yeah, going up into turn number 2 is John Ottbacher, and you know, a similar spot that we talked about, hard braking zones up the wall, really get these drivers out of sorts. And that cloud cover certainly is going to help with the grip, but it's already kind of too late. These tires are so burnt up and slipping and sliding, it's not going to help at all at this point.
Well, Peterson, the leader, just took out some cones, but it doesn't matter. It's not the penalty cones, if you will, Samuel. And obviously, them virtual cones just pop right back up again. Drag strip side. Look at the cloud cover. I don't know if we can do this, by the way, with 13 laps to go. Weather conditions, bottom right of the monitor as we go to the home stretch. Oh no! Newton goes off course. 3rd place car, Paul Newton. You saw it on the camera. Also, Stefano O'Hare with a problem again.
And wow, that is the worst place for Paul Newton to get stuck because he's now in the gravel. He has to move up, and there's just no grip. He's got to slip and slide. And from battling up in 3rd place, Paul Newton drops like a rock to 8th now.
Slip sliding away for Paul Newton. And he's got to rally back, and he has fell all the way to the 8th position, as Samuel just mentioned. Where do we race next week, Chad Malik? We will be at Worldwide Technology Raceway. The Truck Series is off because of the Week 13 update for iRacing. On Tuesday, tomorrow, and Wednesday, the Cup cars are at Worldwide Technology Raceway. Then it's on to Nashville Super Speedway, June the 20th, June 27th, Road America. How about that, Samuel? Another road course on the horizon after we get away from Worldwide Technology in Nashville to wrap up before the 4th of July break for the series of Cup cars.
Yeah, that is going to be, you know, the road courses have been special. I think for Blake Peterson, he loves to see another road course. That could be another win to notch onto his belt as the 9 has been so dominant at these positions. And, you know, going to Road America, that's going to be a fun race to watch. It's another big course, double the size of here at Sonoma, but still a very technical course that you can be making a lot of mistakes, and drivers are going to be having to figure out how to handle themselves, as we've been seeing some not able to do as well here at Sonoma as that of Stefano O'Hare taking the toe to pit road. He might be done for the night.
Yeah, I think Stefano O'Hare says enough is enough. He's had it. And we are coming up on 12 laps to go. It is Blake Peterson, Brian Barnes. Though he's in second, Samuel, he's right within a cat's whisker of the leader, though 2.5 seconds back. But, man, he's not wavered. If something could slip, if something could happen, it could put him in the bird. It could put him in the catbird seat to try to win this race. But obviously, as you said, it's been all no mental errors or mistakes on the virtual drive of the number 9 of Lake Peterson as they're staying. West Jr. going off track again. Oh, he went off track, got in the rumble strips, got back on the rumble in the sand, if you will, but got right back going again. He saves the car. He is in 7th position. He's coming after Anderson, by the way, for 6th.
And there's another battle that's going on. This is for 8th place, where we're going to be seeing that of Kevin Smith trying to run down that of Paul Newton. And for the 00, certainly it's been a roller coaster of a night. He's down 4 positions from where he qualified and trying to run down a driver that just got himself having major issues. I think Paul Newton's probably the driver I want to stay away from right now. I would imagine that 27 is mad, frustrated, and he wants to gain every position back that he just lost.
Ready to take this one to the finish. 10 laps to go coming up. We'll give you the full field rundown as we get ready to go to the checkered flag. But first, we're coming up on the top of the hour. We will pause for 10 seconds of network identification. This is the Northwest Racing Series Cup from Sonoma Raceway on the Community Radio Network. And for those that are watching iRacing on LSRTV, we take you to the finish next.
You're listening to the Community Radio Network. Follow us via social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at CRN Sports. Plus, listen to other games at 87.5 FM or join us anywhere worldwide at wearecrn.com. We are CRN.
And don't forget, coming up once this race concludes, Samuel Dyer and myself are back with you for a delayed, we're not live again, delayed broadcast coverage from Sonoma Raceway of the trucks. Also, coming up in its entirety, that race was voice-tracked earlier in the day. We will be airing that race in its entirety on the Community Radio Network as soon as we part ways here with our Cup Series coverage from Sonoma. I'm Wesley Outland, Samuel Dyer alongside, filling in for Justin Prince. Hope he gets to feeling well, feeling better. He's under the weather. Jeff Stabnow under the weather. Charles has been under the weather. And we welcome you, though, still sticking with us. We're rocking and rolling to the finish. And Samuel, 10 laps to go. We saw Newton have issues. He gets around some more cars of Sean Breitzman, by the way, a lap down car. He's trying to begin his ascent to get back to the front. He's still in the number 8 position, but all the while it is with cars scattered, looking on the track map, all around Sonoma Raceway. P1 since the drop of the green. Lake Peterson looking for now the 5th win this year. He's got 10 laps to get it done here in wine country.
Oh, and there's Brian Reynolds going to be going off track again. But, you know, touching on Lake Peterson's wins that he's got so far, and he's trying to, like you said, go for win number 5. I mean, what a redemption story that Lake Peterson is trying to go after. I mean, himself, Sean Breitzman, wiping each other out on the championship race last season with 40 laps to go. They took each other out and gave basically gift wrap to the president of the championship, to Chris White. And now Lake Peterson, you could tell, with vengeance this season. We're, you know, this is round number 12, trying to win a quarter of the races to start this season. I mean, more than a quarter of the races to start this season off. This 9 machine, you can tell a championship is all on the mind of Lake Peterson. This is all that he wants for this season.
And he is doing it in fine fashion. Lake Peterson is just sheer dominating this event. The driver out of Corvallis, Oregon. He goes to Oregon State University. He is from Klamath Falls, Oregon. And oh, wow, did you see that, Samuel? If he had a little bit more aggression up in the rumble strips, that might have cost him.
I mean, that's the thing. He's got such a big lead. He doesn't have to be too aggressive. And also, he's been so fast in all the other sectors where he can give up a little bit here or there. And he's still running so much faster than Barnes. If anything, he might give up a time here or there. But that last go around, I mean, looking at the difference of times for the drivers, it was still Lake Peterson over that of 2 seconds over Barnes, even with that little slip up.
Brian Barnes, the driver, of course, out of Medford, Oregon, originally from Fallbrook, California. sitting in that number 2 spot. There you see the interval. It's again 5 seconds, even from that little slip by Peterson. And I mind you, it's not really a slip. He just basically just got a little sideways with the back end of the car, and he still was able to control it perfectly, Samuel. He was able to save it. 9 to go, 8 remaining. Cars are scattered all over the racetrack. Here is Ryan Bloom. He's had his share of bad luck tonight. He, though, is still standing in the top 10.
Yeah, he certainly is. And right now, Ryan Bloom, 10th place, still in the top 10. But this is not the way that Ryan wanted this race to go for himself. He was banking on a top 3, if not a top 5 finish, but has had so many mental errors here this evening with 9 laps to go. It looks a little out of reach. If everyone in front of him don't make mistakes, that he's going to crack inside of that top 5. So now for Ryan Bloom, it's just survive, make it to the end as he's trying to close in on the gap on that of Kevin Smith. But the last couple of laps hasn't been really truly fast enough, even with how many laps are left, to catch up to that machine. But some drivers I do want to give some credit to. Caden Anderson, BJ Tidrick, 2 drivers that we've seen have major wrecks for themselves, Wesley. They're still are tied as our biggest movers of the night. Caden Anderson not qualifying as well as he would wished. Same for BJ Tidrick. But with the errors, mistakes, and wrecks they've been involved with, this 37 still on track, even with all the bumps and bruises, and luckily he had a faster pair to keep him on track.
8 laps to go here. I said we'd give you the full field rundown, but under 10 remaining, we'll take it there to the finish. It's Lake Peterson out in front, Brian Barnes second, up 3 spots, Robert Gamble third, up 7, Tyler King in fourth, up 13, BJ Tidrick fifth. Whoa! Caden Anderson, whoa, watching him again. Up 13 spots, he's in 6th. Dan West Jr. 7th, Paul Newton 8th, Kevin Smith 9th, Ryan Bloom 10th as we are ready to bring this to the finish, Sammy D.
11th is going to be Toby Ritters, and finishing out our drivers on the lead lap, John Ottbacher in 12th. 13th is going to be that of Sean Breisman, with that of Aaron Cooper, who just put down his fastest lap with a 1:45.35. Back in 14th place, our second biggest mover of the day, Toby Ritters, off track. Major issues for his Clifford as he's back in 12th. That's going to lose him at least 1 position and now give an opportunity to go a lap down if he doesn't get up to speed quickly here, and will do so. Back to the list, 15th place is going to be Brian Reynolds. Daniel Rogers going to be in 16th. 17th is that of Stephen O'Hare with Troy Daggett in pit road. He's been in there for quite a long time. Jess Stabnow getting back out on track, and the rest of the field is called it a night. That of Tyler Kim, Bruce Lee Weaver, that of Casey Duncan, Frank Harris, Justin Yee, James Vining, and Carl Burke, as other drivers still going off track. And there's another one, that of BJ Tidrick, off track.
8, 7 laps to go as he just crossed the start-finish line. Samuel, here's something to think about, bud. It's coming to the end of this race, yes? We're looking to see it. We're seeing Peterson really starting to lose it, okay? The car is like either tightening up or he's having handling issues. He's fighting that car, working in the corner, exiting the corner, and he's also getting through lap cars as Brian Reynolds just goes another lap down to the Jack Daniels number 12. He is now going after another car to put a lap down. Could that be a help for Brian Barnes to try to run down Lake Peterson?
I mean, for Lake Peterson, he's going to need, if he has a driver completely stop in front of him, he needs to jab on the brakes, really slow down, or go into the dirt, then yeah, that could give Barnes an opportunity to close in this gap. But lap traffic, big kudos to them. They have been getting out of the way whenever it's possible. They're trying to be very respectful for our leader, let Lake Peterson race his own race. And it's good to see lap traffic being this respectful. This is what we love from the Northwest Racing Series, is that in all different divisions and racing series, there's always that sign of respect that's shown for all these drivers. But for Lake Peterson and for Barnes, they're going to need a massive wreck or issue if Barnes wants to catch up to Peterson. Robert Gamble's also going to need a giant wreck over front too, and this is not the driver you want to see wreck. That's going to be Sean Breisman back at 13th. First car lap down, and the woes continue for the 46.
And Toby Ritter's on the lead lap right now. 12 cars on the lead lap as we're ready to bring this one to the finish here. Caden Anderson, as we mentioned, bumps and bangs along the way. The Yakima, Washington native is still in the top 10 in 6th position, with Dan West Jr. hot on his tail here as he works. Oh, my. Was that a mistake, Samuel? I think he accidentally, I don't think he was trying to come to the pits. I think he made a mistake there.
Could have been a mistake. It could have been just coming in, get tires, get repairs. He's got a big enough gap that he won't be losing too much ground. Could be a different, picture of things for Keenan Anderson here. I mean, he wasn't going for a top 5 run. Really has not been the race that he's been wanting. But as we see Anderson going through, hit all the pit stalls, drive through, he's going to go with, and they'll go right back to the racing surface for himself.
Yeah, I'm honestly thinking, guys, he literally drove into the pit lane by accident. I don't think he, per se, was trying to come to pick a pit stop. That was a big error there on Anderson's part, and he just went from 6th to now 10th. As now he's still on the lead lap, but he's lost ground now, 42 seconds to the leader. And we come to the end of this race here. 6, make it 5 laps to go next time by. Remember, the Truck Series is off on Thursday. Samuel, you have a nice off night like I will. And then we come back next Monday night, next Monday, for coverage from Worldwide Technology Raceway for the Northwest Racing Series. I saw some of that track action with the next gen car earlier before we had some technical issues with the Sim 500 series, NC81 call before you dig Cup series. And Samuel, that track is a lot like Richmond. It's a lot like Darlington or Martinsville or Phoenix. There's a lot of similarities to the racetracks of the world that the NASCAR racing competitors race on. That is a lot in Worldwide Technology Raceway, formerly known as Gateway. That should be a fun race next Monday night.
That is going to be a wild racetrack for 4 very different, distinct racetracks to be combined into one. That is wild for themselves.
Somebody just commented in the chat box, and he said he might have got a pass-through for incidents. So that might be a good idea. Probably got a pass-through for incidents Caden Anderson might have. So, yeah, that possibly could have been what it is. I don't know. Nonetheless, he sits in the top 10. 5 laps to go here at Sonoma Raceway. Back up the hill, coming after Ryan Bloom. Ryan Bloom checking up. Kevin Smith in front of him. He went off course. Had to get on the binders there for position. And look at that now. Caden Anderson right back where he left off, Samuel. He is now up tonight, looking for 8. Trying to run down now, Ryan Bloom.
Yeah, for Caden Anderson, he's made a lot of mistakes here, and that's going to be costing him the positioning to that of Anderson, and as well, going to be seeing Smith losing ground. I mean, Ryan Bloom taking 2 positions here in just this lap. 5 laps to go. You'll love to see the 25 starting to be more consistent, and you're starting to see the mistakes by other drivers around. Just, you're giving up positioning, you're giving up points, especially for later on. As drivers continue to race, Anderson in 9th place, Smith in 10th. Ryan Bloom trying to take off to potentially go get 7th if BJ Tidrick has a mistake.
Yeah, 4 laps to go now, and you see Kevin Smith, a little slip there. And Samuel, you think of Kevin Smith, you think of Adenbacher, you think of Anderson, you think of Bloom. Mistake after mistake by these drivers, but somehow, some way, they persevered. They're still on the lead lap as this race comes down to the home stretch with 4 to go here at Sonoma.
Yeah, I mean, it gets to a point where it's more so of how big of a mistake was it? Was it a mistake that you can minimize, or is it something that's going to cost you to go into pit road? I mean, for Caden Anderson, of course, he's made multiple mistakes that have made him have to go into pit road for multiple attempts compared to other drivers. So this 37, what could have been a great day of him having a bad qualifying start to then marching his way through this field to potentially get a top 5 finish. Now it's turned into, well, let's hope that we just keep ourselves in the top 10. We don't make any more mistakes with 4 laps to go.
Yeah, let's just be solid. Let's be effortless, if you will, to go to the finish of this thing and take this to the house, if you will, and go on to the next one, as they say, obviously, Samuel, for sure, as Worldwide Technology Raceway on the horizon. Salvage whatever you can to have a good, solid finish, get a good point stay, if you will, and go on to the next one, as it's pretty much done and for a lot tonight. It is 4 laps to go, 3 laps to go when Lake Peterson reaches start-finish. There's the battle now for 8th and 9th, continuing between Ryan Bloom, the 2021 ARCA Northwest champion, and a man that's got he's got a fair share of wins this year in Cup and Truck. That is, of course, Caden Anderson. And let's just say, honestly, Samuel, I think Caden Anderson, the Yakima, Washington native, wants to get where out of Sonoma virtually and go on to another road course, at least go to another circle track event for a while and stay away from a road course until he can get some more seat time, because he has had his share of struggles, bumps, and bangs. Still solid run in the top 10, but I don't think Sonoma's been friendly to him tonight.
No, and for Caden Anderson, I mean, yes, you're not liking the fact that you're not performing well as you would hope at a road course, but a top 10 run is still a decent time for this 37. You take in any practice that you can to move on and just get better. As
Ritter's
at the top of 3B, there's Ritter's.
Yeah, Toby Ritter's around, another driver that has had a, if you will, solid top 15 run. He was in the number 12 position, first car on the lap down marker. He's going to end up that way, it looks like, and he will stay in position number 12. And honestly, as I look at the track map down the stretch here, Samuel, besides going into that final 45-degree turn, their cars are littered all around Sonoma Raceway. I mean, it's pretty much take your pick. There's cars everywhere, and it's just trying to get here to the finish with 3 to go now. On board with now Anderson trying to get after Kevin Smith.
Yeah, Anderson giving up this ninth place position to Smith, and this is the closest battle on track besides the battle that Poe might be raging on. We'll see in these next lap or so for 5th place, where Dan West Jr. and Paul Newton are close, but overall, gap-wise, this is our closest battle on track for 9th place. Smith and Anderson, and for both these drivers, like we noted on, big mistakes for themselves, but the big thing for both of them is, we've seen Kevin Smith be strong at road courses before, especially road courses that he puts time and effort and practice into. Saw that at the first race of the playoffs for all 3 divisions. As, oh boy, is this a close one, as Newton and West Jr. Newton trying to make the pass. He's going to overshoot and coming out of the corner, fighting back against the 55.
Yeah, that was Dana Rogers way up to the outside retaining wall on the inside, driver left of the racetrack, and all the while coming across the line there is Paul Newton and Dan West Jr. battling. This is for position on the racetrack besides trying to get around Dana Rogers, the lap car that's still also, by the way, Samuel, 5 laps down, still a top 20 finish for him in 16th position as Lake Peterson, 9.2 seconds. Can you say, in the words of Maverick or Top Gun, he has put on the afterburners on Brian Barnes, and the number 9 is gone from the field. He's looking to put this one to the finish line. He awaits the CRN1 to go when he comes back to the start-finish line.
Yeah, number 9 of Lake Peterson, again, it has to run perfect times for himself. Don't get off rhythm. Even if you're trying to slow down your pace, just find that rhythm. Even if it's a fast pace, at this point, you're good. And for Lake, he has been solid as we continue to watch this battle for 5th place of Newton and Dan West Jr. That gap continues to grow, and now the question is, Wesley, if there wasn't a competition caution, how big of a gap would have Lake have had over the rest of the field? My guess, probably up to 40, maybe even 50 seconds over everyone else.
And you see it flash up on the ticker. The white flag is in the air. It's the CRN1 to go because Lake Peterson has just crossed the start-finish line. He is up the hill into turn number 1 and 2 through that small part of the S's here in wine country at Sonoma. He'll make his way to turn number 4, 5, and 6 onto the carousel. Samuel Dyer for the final time here in California.
Trickiest part of the whole entire racetrack is the 9 heading down into the carousel. Got to make sure that you do not overcook and you go in smooth. Let the tires and car run itself. Then at this point, get back into the throttle, race up down the drag strip, up into that turn 7 and 7B, and take it down the S's smoothly. That's all that the 9 has to do. Be smooth. The gap is growing massively. It's up to 13, almost 14 seconds between 1st and 2nd place.
He has sheerly dominated here since the drop of the green flag. He has led all laps here tonight at Sonoma Raceway. He will also become another winner on the series with now 5. Make it 5 wins. The dominator so far of 2022 in the Northwest Racing Series of Cup. He reels in Billings, Montana's John Audenbacher. to try to close in on him. Off into turn number 11 and 11A. Off through turn 12 for the final time. Here he comes, the driver, Lake Peterson, flag to flag, here, winning at Sonoma.
And
we
as
await
Lake,
now second, Samuel, and he's still a long way to go.
he is certainly a long way to go. But now we got two other battles that are on track. Like we were talking about, that Paul Newton as well as Dan West Jr. battle, that was looking close as well for the battle for 8th between that of Ryan Bloom and others. This gap going on for 5th place looks a little bit too far out for any chance. Dan West Jr. is going to try to make a little bit of a diamond move for himself. Not close enough. Newton's got to be able to hold off for this, but then also the battle for 8th place. We fall back to Wesley as they're heading down into turn number 11.
Yeah, that's going on the racetrack as all the while. Barnes has passed for second. Gamble has crossed the line as well. King, Newton, West, and now it's Tidrick and Bloom and Kevin Smith going at it. Here comes Kevin Smith now trying to reel him in. Anderson also waiting patiently down on the outside. Nothing there. They'll cross the start-finish line. And there is the running of the drivers that are currently on the lead lap with John Onnenbacher, who was just, if you will, Samuel, trying to stay on the lead lap in front of him. I'm sorry, correction. Lake Peterson was in front of the leader. Lake Peterson in front of the leader, John Onnenbacher. And John Onnenbacher, Samuel, is going to survive on the lead lap. Even though Mr. Lake Peterson was hot on his tail, he is going to be able to make it around here to start-finish line and take the checkered flag.
Yeah, John Ottenbacher is going to be the last driver that has to officially cross before we start to see some burnouts from this 9 machine. But Lake Peterson, what a dominating run for himself. Over 15.5 seconds was the gap over that of Brian Barnes. And what's crazy, Wesley, was with 5 laps to go, the gap was only that of 7 seconds. It just blossomed and bloomed in those final 3 laps.
Oh, yeah.
It doubled because of the wear and tear Barnes had, while Lake Peterson continued to stay consistent.
Yeah, he opened it up. I think Lake Peterson's going to make his way to the drag strip staging lanes, if you will. No, he's going to go right back to start finish and finally celebrate. Are they going to have the Northwest High Five salute? He's going to burn it down. He's going to burn it down, Samuel. Light them up down there at the start finish line and enjoy this win. But I got to wonder if somebody's going to come out of nowhere and bonsai him in celebration of what we call the Northwest High Five salute, Samuel. It might be coming as he's right down below the start-finish line, celebrating, and then they're coming after him, I think.
I'm wondering if maybe Lake Peterson is just going to take the jump. There is a jump that you take going up into turn number 2. If you just go through the dirt, that will launch you across the track. He will not be able to do so.
That'd be cool.
Is gone. But Lake Peterson is done. He'll sit there, wait for anyone to come on by, and doesn't sound like anyone's near him. Wesley is just too far in. There's just not enough speed out there.
Yeah, I mean, maybe these guys have said they've had enough. Lake Peterson is the winner. Brian Barnes will finish at the number 2 spot. You see the interval of victory, 15.749 seconds. As Robert Campbell will finish in 3rd. Tyler King 4th. Paul Newton, the obviously truck winner here at Sonoma, finishes in 5th. Dan West Jr. 6th. BJ Tidrick is 7th. Brian Bloom 8th. Kevin Smith 9th. Caden Anderson. All the bad luck. A minute, 1 second behind, though, on the lead lap. Samuel, he'll finish in still in the top 10.
Last driver on the lead lap going to be that of John Ottenbacher, and then first car lap down, Toby Ritter's in 12th place. Then it's going to be that of Sean Bridesman in 13th. Aaron Cooper takes 14th. 15th going to be that of Brian Reynolds. 2 laps down for both that of Cooper and Reynolds. Then 5 laps down going to be Dana Shepard, and then Stephen O'Hare, Troy Daggett, Jeff Stabnow. Tyler Kim going to be your top 20 and finishing out the rest of the results. Going to be Bruce Lee Weaver in 21st position. 22nd going to be Casey Duncan, as well as Frank Harrison 23rd, Justin Nee in 24th, James Viney the Catman 25th, and not even able to start the times. It's Carl Berg going to take 26th.
So 1 yellow flag stopping this race at midpoint around lap number 26, 27. And when it's all said and done, sheer domination by the driver of Mr. Lake Peterson. His 5th win, by the way, this year for the driver of the number 9. He will also score out of another 5 poles to that. 5 poles, 5 wins, 7 top 5s, and now 9 top 10s. And he is still in the top 10 in the points as well. Coming up, finish line, post-race wrap-up. we wrap it up here for the Cup Cars, the Northwest Racing Series at Wine Country Sonoma Raceway. Get ready for Worldwide Technology Raceway next week. We're going to hear what these drivers have got to say when we come back next here from Sonoma. Back here at Wine Country Sonoma Raceway, the Northwest Racing Series has wrapped up here round 12 here at Sonoma Raceway. When it's all said and done, Lake Peterson picking up his 5th win on the season after another dominating performance on the road course here in California. Getting ready now for the finish line post-race wrap-up. Boy, we got a great show for finish line. Follow all details on our social media. That's coming up on Wednesday, 1 p.m. Eastern and 12 Central on, of course, Fox Sports Radio affiliates across America in the Carolinas, and, of course, the video on the side of things on Live Sim Racing LSR production. So, Samuel is here. I'm here. We're ready to wrap it up. Talk to our top 3. Actually, top 4, because Brian Barnes is not available, but a good solid run for him. So we're going to talk to the 4th place man of Tyler King. Tyler, what a solid run for you, man. You'll finish in the 4th position. It's good to get you on the podium tonight.
Yeah, but it's been a good week here down in Sonoma. It's like home track for me, so I've been a lot of laps for practice. The truck series, I put 0 work in for this race other than running, the entire qualifying session to get some laps in here. But luckily, I turned 150 laps, I think, here in the truck. So I just took what I learned there and put it back to here and finally got a decent result in these new Cup cars. I'm not sure if I finished in the top 25 before this race today.
Yeah, I mean, Tyler, a strong run for yourself again, 4th place. I mean, that is kind of shocking to hear, the lack of, practice you had for the Cup machine because of how consistent it seemed like you were running out there. Talk about it. I mean, you said how much you could learn from the trucks to the Cup. What was the major difference, though, between the 2 vehicles for yourself this week?
Well, I expect I expected a lot more trouble because, a lot more horsepower with these things. So you got wider tires, so you'd have a little more grip, I figured. But with the track temperature being up at the 120 degrees, you really had to take care of your tires, make sure you got the traction, and, keep pointing forward. Luckily, I just drove it exactly like the truck and just took her easy and stayed on the course and, kept her pointing in the right direction.
Hey, Tyler, this solid finish here, man's got to put the momentum train back for you to look forward to trying to have some more solid runs and look for a win possibly for the end of the year to lock in the playoffs.
For sure. Definitely been a rough start to the season. I've had some decent runs in truck. I finished 6th, 7th a bunch of times. Like I said, finally broke through in the top 5 last week here at Sonoma. Hopefully it'll set us up for a good summertime. Get in the top 5, top 3s, get some wins.
All right, Tyler, thanks, man. Before we let you go, thank your sponsors.
Yeah, got to thank American Touch Up for the support they give us. Nicole Bryant Photography. We got LSRTV, everybody that puts the show on with the Northwest Series, and Peel's California Oranges.
Yes, and when it's all said and done, Tyler King will settle for a 4th here tonight. We'll go down to the man that finished in the 3rd position now, Robert Gamble, Cincinnati Bengals, number 54, runner-up in the Super Bowl. And I'll tell you what, though, Robert, it seems like you had a pretty solid run here tonight also. A share of good luck, bad luck. Things are coming around, though, for truck and car 54.
Oh, yeah. No, it was a very good run tonight. Very happy with the result. It was a definitely just fight for survival. Like Tyler was saying, you got to take care of the tires. The track was hot. It was slick. It seemed like everybody except for Lake Speederson there had issues spinning out at one point in time, and he just ran away with it. But great finish tonight, 3rd place. I'm
very happy with that. Did you catch that, by the way, Samuel? Lake Speederson?
Oh, yeah. It makes sense at the road courses, but
it does.
Robert, this was certainly a great run for yourself. You were battling with Tyler King for the majority of the night. Do you prefer racing with drivers around you at road courses, or do you prefer to have it solo by yourself?
There's benefits to both, actually. It's kind of fun when you got somebody to race with. Tyler and I always end up, if you look back at the results, we are always around each other, especially at these road course races. So him and I race really hard on these road courses, and we hardly ever run into each other. I kind of ran into him a little bit at the top of the hill at one point, but we made it through. Nobody spun out, and but yeah, it was fun battling with him all night, and we battled in the trucks the same way.
Yeah, man, everybody's happy. It's on to the next one. And, of course, I got to say, Robert, what's your take of these cars trying to negotiate around this road course? We saw the good, the bad, and the ugly for sure here tonight at Sonoma.
Man, they are tough. It's just you're always constantly, going back and forth on the throttle. Hardly ever full throttle at anywhere. Varying what gear you're in. I mean, it's really tough. You have to concentrate the entire time. There's no taking a lap off or anything. You're always focusing on the next corner, the next braking point, the next thing. When your tires slip out, you try and turn it sideways. It's a fight. It's a fight with the car.
All right, man. Well, it's always good talking to you, Robert. Another good, solid day. Before we do let you go, sir, thank your sponsors.
Cincinnati Bengals, go Bengals, and LSRTV, you guys do an awesome job. Really appreciate everything you do for, this series and the other series that you cover, and just wishing you guys all success.
Well, there you go. There's the thoughts of Robert Gamble there. He'll finish in the number 3 position again. By the way, shout out to Brian Barnes again, Samuel Dyer, and you can quickly say something on his behalf. He'll finish in the number 2 position, runner-up to this race. And as I said, unofficially, he is now back up in the points lead, 15 points over a driver that had problems here tonight. Still a solid top 10 for Caden Anderson. He now moves to 2nd in the point standings. Cole Raz drops 2 positions to 3rd when this race concludes. Brian Barnes doing what he needed to do, maybe not winning, but consistency to go back to the top of the points ladder.
Yeah, and that consistency is going to carry over for sure as we get closer and closer to the playoffs. That's all he really needs to do. Stay consistent, go for some of the best finishes he can. That win will come at some point. We just know it will, but if you can keep consistency all throughout this season, that championship's looking gold.
And as we get ready to now go to victory lane, burning it down again with his 5th win of the year, 5 poles, 7 top 5s, and 9 top 10s. Wow. Lake Peterson, sheer domination for you. Another win on the series. Congratulations.
Thank you. Kind of a crazy race with how hot it was out there. Um, Fighting for traction the entire time. Yeah, it I don't know if it looked like I was comfortable, but the entire time it felt like I had to wheel it. So I don't know. I had a really good time. It felt like it was a driver's type of track. If you weren't able to, if you didn't get caught up in anything and minimize your mistakes, you kind of would set yourself up for success. So yeah, that was the goal, just to minimize mistakes and keep a good pace.
I mean, like up in the booth, it really did seem like you were comfortable for most of the night. There were a few times we saw you slipping up, but what was it about these road courses that you come out, you perform so well, and you just be able to handle this car? Because it seems like a lot of drivers keep on saying that this new Cup car is difficult to handle more than the old Cup machine. What is your opinion on it?
I would tend to agree with them, and it's going to be really interesting tomorrow when they update these cars. I'm very curious to see what direction they go and how similar. Obviously, I've never driven a real Cup car, but I'm curious to see what their take of the Cup car is now after this update will roll out tomorrow. With this current version of this car, I've found some comfort with it. I've definitely figured out on the road courses the tendencies that I like to follow as I'm running my race. Yeah, I don't know. Some things click with me, some things don't. But the longer I continue to keep messing with this thing, the more I start to understand it. But it's a constant beast that you always have to stay on your toes with to make sure it doesn't get the best of you, to say the least.
Like my colleague and partner in the booth, Samuel Dyer, reiterated on this, had a flashback of when you and Sean Brightsman were battling for the championship, of course, in the Cup Series, made contact at Vegas, took each other out, and gave the championship, obviously, in the win to Chris White. Are you kind of like on a stranglehold this season with anybody that's in your path to look at trying to get this Northwest Championship, primarily in the Cup Series, because it looks like you just want redemption, it seems like, this year?
Oh, absolutely. What happened in Vegas with Sean was just like a racing deal. I truly wish we would have been able to battle that out to the finish, because that would have just been an awesome ending to to last season. But yeah, this year when I'm able to race, I really do try to bring my best to the track, because like you said, redemption, and I would really like to be able to grab that Cup championship this year. I feel like I'm putting myself in a good position to do so. I know we're probably only a third into the season, and people's schedules vary throughout the year, and right now I'm able to put a good amount of time into these last couple races and really understand what I need to do to be successful. And I'm sure when the playoffs come, people are going to start figuring out how they can squeeze in some free time to put in some laps so that they're ready and more prepared for these races come playoff time. So I'm going to take advantage of it while I can and squeeze out as many bonus points and try and get back to that points lead. I haven't been able to grab it yet, but that's a goal of mine I've been trying to inch towards here. So yeah, just trying to do my best out here.
Well, like Peterson, segue into your sponsors, but I will say, as the points have updated unofficially, you have bumped back up one spot. You were 5th coming into this race, and now you're in 4th.
Awesome. Yeah, I'd love to. Well, first off, kind of a side note here. I want to thank my college friends. I have graduation coming up this weekend. I had Nick Bearclaw, Harinder Gakal, and David Shoemaker. Would not have been able to trudge through college these last 5 years without them. We're all getting our bachelor's in computer science and just trying to figure out what the real world's all about. So that's really exciting. And I want to thank LSRTV for these awesome broadcasts. You guys put us on a pedestal every week, and you give your absolute best when it comes to highlighting all of us, giving us an opportunity to, I don't know, feel special out here. So it's really cool what you guys do. I want to thank all of our admins, Sean, Jeff, oh gosh, everyone that puts this on. It's fortunate to be a part of this league, to say the least. And everyone at KAR and Ski Fleet Enterprises and Phoenix Designs for these super cool paint schemes. So yeah, just want to thank everyone. I really appreciate it.
Lake Peterson, the driver, of course, a student graduating from Oregon State University, as he just mentioned, from Corvallis, Oregon, picks up his 5th win this year, and of course has a 3-win lead over everyone else in the Northwest Racing Series Cups here tonight after dominating at Sonoma Raceway. For those that are listening on the Community Radio Network, don't forget, coming up in about 5 minutes time after we go live off the air with Cup from Sonoma, we'll have coverage of the delayed truck race from Sonoma Raceway coming up next. Samuel Dyer and I are on the call. Samuel, your final take of this race. What a phenomenal job again by Lake Peterson. Good, bad, ugly from Sonoma. We pack it up and we get ready now for Worldwide Technology Raceway next Monday night. And reminder, the trucks are also off this Thursday.
Yeah, I think the good thing, I think for the majority of the field, they're excited to see that this race is over. There were a lot of drivers that wanted this race to be done way sooner just because of how terrible of a night they were having overall, having a hard time staying on track. And really, that's another thing that you can transition into the bad. I mean, it was really bad seeing some of these drivers struggling as hard as they were. But the ugly, Lake Peterson got another win. That's more bonus points, and that's going to be helping himself into the playoffs. And Wesley, we were talking about how the fact that these drivers have drop weeks. If you factor in the drop weeks for Lake Peterson, technically he would have the points lead, but he's trying to muscle his way to take the points lead by missing already 3 races compared to the rest of the field. That is incredible to see, missing 3 races compared to everyone else and still that close to the top of points.
Well, listen, it's on to, again, Worldwide Technology Raceway next Monday and Thursday. The Week 13 update for iRacing has the Truck Series off this upcoming Thursday night. And, of course, we will have a nice little break. The next iRacing broadcast on LSRTV will be with Samuel, and hopefully Justin will feel better. If not, they'll get somebody in to do the Crown Jewel Late Model Stock Car Series. E-Series is going to be at Hickory Motor Speedway. The Throwback 276, you've got Nazareth, LTAC, and all that, of course, coming up on Friday, too. And I'll be back with you on Monday, Sim 500, and the Northwest Cup Series is, again, we are off Thursday for the trucks. CRN coverage live again next with the truck race from Sonoma. Samuel, thanks for filling in for Justin. Hopefully he gets to feeling better. It's always fun working with you, though, sir.
Yeah, thanks for letting me up in the booth and covering this race. Tons of Sonoma we got to deal with this week to get to recover the trucks race, and then also can do tonight. Cannot wait for it, and again, hope for Justin to feel better so he can get back in the booth, get back to what he's good at covering here tonight.
Yeah, certainly is one of the best in the business, of course. Thanks to Rocket Media Live Sim Racing and Charles Wooten and Jeff Stab now on the production. As always, follow them at Live Sim Racing, at LSRTV on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and at CRN Sports and Northwest Racing Series on Facebook. Congratulations to, again, Lake Peterson, win 5 of the year, domination here at Sonoma. For Samuel Dyer, I'm Wesley Outland. Thanks for joining us for coverage on the Community Radio Network. If listening or watching live or on archives, up soon on LSR TV. Be good to one another. Enjoy the rest of your week. And, of course, we appreciate you being a fan of the Pacific Northwest Racing Series.